Hello, my name's Eliza and I am a tech startup founder. I'm trying out this new form of content today where I react to Dragon's Den, which is the UK version of Shark Tank. It actually came out before Shark Tank did, so fun facts. But I thought it would be fun to react to these pitches and sort of try and suss out any kind of useful nuggets for those of you who want to make a killer pitch to investors, you know, what they do right, what they do wrong. And so I'm going to do that today by reacting to this clip that came out today. It's called Everything You're Doing is Very Easy to Replicate. Thank you to these guys for spoiling it a bit. But anyway, without further ado, let's go.
Last into the den, a husband and wife team, Anisha Subramanian and Jack Walker.
Okay, there's a dog, so very exciting. It's going to be a pet product of some kind, I'm imagining. So that's great to see. I love dogs.
Who brought a four-legged friend along to help with their pitch.
So this is Smudgy White Socks. She's nearly 10 years old and she's very much the inspiration behind the business.
The duo have turned their love of pets into an all-consuming business idea.
Okay, so I don't know if these guys are married or together. Sometimes if you are too close to your founding partner like this, so it's good because you have sort of an underlying relationship that's outside of the business. That can help you carry through hard times. On the other hand, the personal relationship can become a liability if anything happens to you. You know, is then the business going to suffer in terms of like being in a relationship? It can apply with like familial relationships too, but maybe less so because if you start a company with your brother, you're maybe unlikely to fall out entirely with your brother, though not impossible.
There is no date night, there's just cat and dog shows.
Oh, okay. So
Walk is pet food, but yeah, that's fine. Is that cat looking at you or is that cat looking at me? Because I'm feeling quite stared out.
The entrepreneurs have one of the five investors in particular in their sights.
We want to work with a dragon that's passionate about animal welfare as much as we are. I think Deborah's the obvious choice.
yes, I would choose Deborah too. She's my favorite dragon.
Hi Dragons, I'm Anisha, this is Jack and this is Smudge. There's actually a fourth member of our team, Boo the cat, but she's not here for obvious reasons, so we have brought her teddy replica. So we're Scrumbles and we make responsible cat and dog food that promotes great gut health, and we'd love you to invest £60,000 for...
Okay, so right away, I will say a very good thing that she did just there was that she described the product in terms of its benefits. I think she talked about promoting gut health and stuff. So already you know what the product is and you get a decent hint at what the unique selling proposition is, aka what makes you different, because there's lots of pet food brands. What's different about you? It seems like what they do differently is that they promote gut health. So that's a really strong, concise way to sum up your value as a company before you even like officially open your pitch. So I thought that was quite strong.
10% stake in our company.
So like any pet parent, we've had to deal with our fair share of vet trips, and we had a really bad patch with our cat Boo, and the only thing that was settler was a probiotic paste that we got from the vet. That really revealed to us the importance of gut health and probiotics. But having taken a closer look, we couldn't find a brand that would deliver on gut health and was both responsible and affordable. So,
see, that's good. Now he's really outlined the problem. He's made it a personal connection, which is great. Sort of talked about how there was nothing else out on the market that solved this problem. That's really strong because that indicates your separation from the competition and an awareness of the competitive landscape. So far, so good.
decided to create our own.
What makes our food great is that combination of wholesome natural ingredients plus functional elements like probiotics. So our food's really easy to digest, great for sensitive tummies, and we call it Scrumbalicious. We're now going to pass around a selection of products for you guys to look at, and then we welcome any questions.
Can't taste it because it's a dog food.
For cats and dogs is the business idea that Croydon couple Anisha and Jack are hoping will win over the dragons.
Oh, look. Is that good? I've got very good fingernails for dog scratching.
So I think they passed over this, but they are aware that Deborah is like a big animal lover. So it's really good if you can don't be too stalkerish, but if you have a meeting with an investor, if you can do a basic search to see if you have any of these connection points, especially as it relates to your product. So, you could even, if you have this pet food brand, you could come in and say, like, I know you tweeted last month about how you had to take your cat to the vet again. I know that back in the day, this might have been considered creepy, but nowadays it's almost standard practice. Like, people expect you to follow them on social media, to be aware of who they are on some level. So I wouldn't worry too much about that unless you've like found out something super personal that hasn't been released publicly, then maybe don't do that. But if it's something they've tweeted or posted on Instagram or whatever, that's pretty fair game to bring that up. And if you can do it sort of seamlessly in the conversation, that's best.
They're asking for £60,000 in return for a 10% stake in their company.
Huh? What? They put the dog in the elevator by itself? What if...
Animals is common knowledge. And it looks like she knows only
What
too
if-
well the benefits of a premium pet food.
What if the elevator breaks and the dog's by itself? Okay, whatever, not relevant.
I get really boring at this moment because you've got me on my specialist subjects. I had a cat with IBD, so I spent my life
See, there we go.
searching.
She's really bought into the problem. This is a really great first step.
I put it down to probiotics and prebiotics. So your big selling point, because I see it's not showing on your dog product, for the cats is probiotic. So where does it say?
So this is a really good point because if you have a unique selling proposition, if you have something that makes you different, you've got to splatter it everywhere. That's like a key thing about branding and marketing, is that you can feel like you're repeating yourself over and over, but you have no idea when customers are coming in and interacting with your brand. So you've got to make your most important features, your most important differentiators, as obvious as possible in as many places as possible. Because if they've heard about you online and they see probiotics, great. But if you're in the pet shop and you just see the packaging and it doesn't say it, then they're not going to know that that's what makes you different and special. So she has a good point.
Probiotics.
I don't think you can say probiotics.
Oh.
Can I ask them, Tej? I know you're an expert in this field, but I would like to know what they know, not what you know. So
helping out.
Yeah, no thank you. I'd like
Oh
to know.
gosh. Well, it's got a little...
So
And I mean, some of this is for the cameras, isn't it? Some of this is for show.
Probiotics, and we can say that can help with sensitive tummies.
Why is it not on the packaging then?
So those are the treats in the wet food. They don't have probiotics. It's on our dry food, and it says added probiotics
And
in
you
it.
state it on there.
So I'm glad I listened to the experts because
Well, actually, no,
you
'cause-
said you can't put probiotics.
Well, I can say what I want and I can make a comment if I like, thank you.
Wait, so now I'm confused. Are you allowed to say probiotics or not? I can't think why you would not be allowed to say it, because you like sell probiotics by themselves. So I don't see why you wouldn't be allowed to say that it's in a food. But I have no idea. This is completely outside my jurisdiction, so don't listen to me.
Tej Lalvani and Deborah Meaden clash over the probiotic claims of the product. Tuka Suleiman has a wealth of retail experience behind him, and his ears are pricked up at the picture's pet food proposition.
I've already
Okay.
invested in a dog business.
Okay.
Okay.
Silicon dog toy.
It's a very good idea to have a product. Investors like to do several things that are in their wheelhouse so they can get really in depth on a certain industry. Because if they have to learn many different industries, it's just difficult. So having a sort of mini portfolio within the portfolio of, say, pet care brands is strong. So try to find out where investors have invested in the past and see if you fit in nicely with their existing portfolio. Similar enough. Obviously, if they are investing in a direct competitor, I would say, do not meet with that investor actually, because they will probably accept the meeting, learn everything that you know as information for their competitor that they're already invested in, and then not invest with you because it's unethical to invest in two different companies doing the same thing. So absolutely just do not reach out to them, do not accept a meeting with them, because it's not going to go well for you. So just so you know.
And of course, when I look at anything in dogs, it just wakes me up and says, is there an opportunity? But I'm a bit worried about your branding. I feel that it's not prominent enough. It looks faded. Maybe it needs another colour rather than the white to really stick out.
I think it's a good point on the yellow.
I mean, branding can be changed. This is something that seems to happen a lot on Dragon's Den, where they're like, I don't like the branding, but branding can be changed. Perhaps their concern is that it's expensive to change the branding sometimes, so maybe that's why they get worried. In terms of branding, especially for something like this, you have to think about how you're going to be in a pet shop. There's going to be a whole line, a whole aisle usually, of just tons of different dog and cat food brands. So how are you going to stand out on that shelf? That's like a whole different thing than if you were just going to be on your website where you can manipulate the look of the website to look exactly how you want. You have to think about how you stand out. So if you have a brand like this, I would suggest spending a lot of time in the pet food store. Walk down the aisle, see what catches your eye, see what you gloss over, see what makes you like pause and read, kind of use that to determine what your branding is going to look like.
You can read the yellow with the
Yeah.
white.
That's what I'm saying. The white actually is not strong enough to read the brand from a distance.
What's been really fun with this is actually we've identified the colours that cats and dogs respond to.
Cats and dogs are not your buyers.
Okay. So I can see what's happened here. When you're doing branding, you have to be really aware about what happens if the person who is using the product is different than the person buying the product. The most obvious example I can think of is any kids products. So when you're branding, you have to consider both the child and the parent, because while the child might want it and might play with it and use it, it's the parent who's actually spending the money. So you have to take both into account when you're doing the branding. In this, it's sort of not as relevant though, because obviously a dog is not going to have the cognitive capabilities to like choose a dog food brand. They're just going to say like, give me food. So I commend their effort. I see why they've done what they've done, because that is talked about quite a lot in branding. But in this case, it doesn't really apply.
Tuka Suleiman wonders if the entrepreneurs are barking up the wrong tree with the colour scheme they've chosen for their products.
I don't mind the colour scheme,
Now wants to
but
find out
what do I know?
if Cutthroat Pet Food has racked up any sales.
When did you launch and how much have you sold today?
So we closed our first financial year on Friday.
Okay.
We did £101,000,
What was your
Okay.
net profit?
minus 70.
What?
70.
Okay. I would need to see a breakdown in numbers for that, because why are they losing that much money on a pet food? Something's gone wrong. They've mispriced the product, or their overhead is potentially too big, Or maybe the cost of goods sold is too high. There's something off about that. It shouldn't be that big a loss.
Yeah.
Okay. And how much money have you invested in the business so far?
So personally, we've invested £130,000.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so
what are
it
you guys
should.
projecting for this
The
new
maths
year?
doesn't add up here.
So we'll hit 320,000 this year. We'll probably make a modest loss of about 20,000.
So at what point does that start making
So we're aiming to make a profit in year 3.
money? And what's your
Okay, so in real life, it's actually quite common for year 3 to be the year that you make a profit. I know they're going to make a big deal about this probably in Dragon's Den because it's TV, but like it's quite common for profitability to take a couple years. So I wouldn't worry like too much about that if your financial projections don't show you making a profit until year 3. Like that's fairly common. So just don't freak out about that. But I still don't think their numbers quite add up. Like there's something that's a bit strange to me. Like I feel like I'm missing something for sure in their financials.
forecast then for year 3?
We think we'll hit $1 million.
$1 million. And then what will your profit be on that?
£75,000.
And what's
See,
your
that's
salary
still low.
forecast for this year?
We don't take a salary.
You just work for free.
We work for
Sadly.
ourselves.
We're in
looking
it for the
forward
long
to our
term.
first paycheck.
So, this can go either way. The like, when do you pay yourself? How much do you pay yourself? It can be a really delicate balancing act. And actually, I've heard different opinions from different investors. Most of them want you to take a salary so that, you know, you can live, nothing too extravagant, but, you know, enough to kind of get by. I think the big concern here is that the numbers look like that, even taking, like, without even taking into account their own salaries. So that is a bit weird. So yeah, let's see.
Right. It's tough. This is tough, isn't it? Do not worry you.
I really enjoy it.
You enjoy working, not taking a salary.
Don't enjoy not having a salary.
Yeah, of course.
We enjoy working with one another.
And what happens to the company if you two fall out and get divorced?
Oh, well, I didn't expect them to actually bring that up.
That would never happen to us.
Okay, well, I think that as a game plan, what happens if you two split up and saying that won't happen is a pretty poor one. I personally have been burned by that line of thinking in the past. Things can always go wrong and go south, and I think you've got to plan for it. I actually think it can make things stronger if you do plan for it. If there are cracks, they begin to show way earlier than when it's going to actually hurt you. And if it's a strong relationship, you should be able to talk about these things and talk about what's fair now and get it down in writing now, as opposed to trying to negotiate it when things have gone wrong, when emotions are high. You know, when you've got this history, it's better to do all that stuff up front. Everyone says it, everyone ignores it, everyone regrets ignoring it. So don't ignore this advice. You know, sort out the worst case scenarios, sort out what would happen in those scenarios, get it in writing.
Peter Jones discovers the pet-loving pair are yet to earn a living from their business. Sarah Davies is now ready to have her say on the natural pet food proposition.
I know you're looking for an investor to come on board who's passionate about animal welfare, and it's not that I'm not passionate about that.
Yeah.
Very much a dog lover, just not a dog or a cat owner. It's a space that I don't understand. So unfortunately, this isn't the one for me.
I think that's totally fair. You know, you might even be suspicious if you have capital coming your way from people who have zero experience. So I think it's fair of her to say that she's out. So
And I'm out.
Sarah Davies isn't invested in the product and declined the opportunity to invest in the business. Tuka Suleiman has intimated he's interested in any dog-related enterprise. Is he ready to rumble with Scrumble?
At the end of the day, I have to go with my business instincts. And I'm not in a position to wait 3, 4, 5 years for my money. So
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
gonna say those words.
so that's an interesting one. You have to think about investors, how they want to get out of the business, how they want to exit, and what time frame they're looking for. I'm a little surprised because I feel like 5 years is a pretty reasonable time frame to expect. But maybe I can see because the numbers are a bit suspect. So maybe I can see where he's coming
I
from.
don't really want to say because I think you're very, very credible, but it's not an investment for me. Therefore, I'm out.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Taylor.
The length of time that you're predicting to get to a point where this can actually make money, to actually even sustain a lifestyle for you as a couple, that really worries me.
Yeah.
So I think what you've pitched actually might be a treat for dogs and cats, but it's not a treat for an investor.
Okay, Peter.
So I'm going to tell you where I am. It's not for me. I'm out.
Yeah.
Peter Jones has a gut feeling the gut-friendly product isn't going to bring rich returns. Tej Lalvani made his millions in vitamins.
Sorry.
Does he think there's a marriage between
It's just
his
very
health
intense
products for
music.
humans and their health food for pets?
I think you guys are great.
Oh, so there we go.
I think there's an opportunity here to grow, but I think it's going to require quite a bit of money and time to build a brand. Building a brand is expensive.
That's true. Marketing can be very expensive.
Look, it's a difficult one, guys. I'm going to tell you where I am. Unfortunately, it's not what you want to hear. It's not for me. I'm out.
Tej
a
Lalvani
bit-
thinks the cash required
Okay.
overrides the market opportunity and becomes the fourth dragon out. Only Deborah Meaden remains. And it seems she has concerns about the protection the pair have on their product.
The IP question is
that every
the IP question is almost always going to come up. So get ready for that. I talk about that in several other videos. So check those out. Subscribe to my channel. Check out my other content. If you're interested in those things, you're shameless self-promotion. What can you do?
you're doing is very easy to replicate.
Can
So there's the line.
thing cover before you make a decision?
Yeah, I mean, your unique selling proposition, ideally, either your brand needs to be so strong that you're known for that it doesn't matter if people copy you, or you've got to have some unique selling proposition that's very difficult to copy for IP reasons. Those are kind of the two ways you can go about it. So I see her point that it can be replicated, especially by bigger brands. They could just release, their own food and chuck a probiotic in it and it would do the same thing. So I can see where she's coming from, that's a big risk.
I absolutely agree that most of the things that we're doing can be copied in some way or form. But I think why our customers come to us is because they identify with us and our story, and they trust us to do right by their dog.
Yeah, but the problem is that there's no pet brand out there that's going to be like, we don't care about dogs or your pets, especially in today's climate where people's pets are like the most important thing and people are willing to spend more money on pets than ever before. Every brand out there is going to talk about how much they care about your pet's welfare and how much you can trust them and stuff. So that's not going to make you different is the problem.
All right, I'm going to make you an offer.
Ooh, Deborah. She's my favourite.
Anyway, Richard, you were just going to keep talking until I finally surrendered. So I'm going to offer you £60,000.
Probably double the percentage.
I want 20% of the business.
Okay, oh my goodness. Okay, so first of all, not surprised because not only, I mean, one, it's for TV dramatics. They even put in dramatic music for what is honestly like a pretty standard offer. Like the money they want, I think it was 60,000 for 20%. That's a pretty standard offer, you know, there's nothing weird about that. You have to consider from an investor's point of view, especially at this stage, at this more early stage. So she's going to have 20% right now. If they go on to get another round of investment, they're going to get diluted. Everyone gets diluted down, including Deborah. So she owns 20% right now. But if another £1 million come in, she's going to be diluted right down depending on what the valuation is. I could do a video where I explain the maths on that, but it's a bit of a pain. But the point is that they're going to take a bigger percentage now with, you know, they're hedging their bets. Either they could do an exit when they're early and she gets 20% of a smaller exit, which is nice, or big investors come in, so you're a much bigger brand, which is great, but you own less percentage of that. So, you know, you balance out those risks in your mind. So that's why she's doing that. And of course, because it's dramatic for TV. But there's no need for it to be that dramatic. She didn't say like 60% of the company, you know. I think that's a pretty basic offer. So I imagine, you know, they'll just take it and that's the episode.
Defense of their product wins over Deborah Meaden and she tables a bid.
Should we take some more?
More time?
Absolutely.
Ah, okay.
In return for the £60,000 the pair are seeking, she's asking for a 20% stake in their business.
Okay, so they're talking about it. They might do something where if they hit revenue targets or if they can give her some of the money back so that she'll lower her stake in the business. I've seen that happen quite often here. That's fair enough. That works for both parties because it encourages the entrepreneurs to really hit revenue targets or to really make enough of a profit to pay back investors a certain amount. So I think that can work really well. I think that's a good deal when they strike those ones. So let's see.
Twice what the couple are willing to give away.
What they wanted to give.
I really like her.
Yeah. Let's make a counter offer.
Yeah.
And it's clear they haven't finished negotiating.
So, thank you very much for your offer, Deborah. We really respect that you understand the industry. But if we were able to get your money back after a period of 3 years, would you be happy to reduce your stakeholding to 15%?
Oh, okay.
You see, that's counterintuitive. So we worked together for 3 years to build the value of the business and the brand. And at the end of that 3 years, when we have built the business and the brand, my stake reduces. Does that sound?
Okay, well, I mean, I see where she's coming from, but on the other hand, she now hasn't lost any money because she's gotten the 60,000 back. So it reduces her risk of losing money to zero. So again, I think this is said for dramatics. And she's like, oh, how counterintuitive. But on other episodes, they've taken deals like that. So I don't know. I maybe what's happening is that she's going to have to be pretty involved to kind of turn this company around because they actually need quite a bit of work if their numbers are like that. Because I don't really see how you lose £70,000 your first year of selling unless in this kind of company, unless something has gone really awry. So she might have she might think to herself, I've got to spend a lot of time with these people as well as the money. So maybe that's what's coming in to her mind when she's saying this. I want to give Deborah the benefit of the doubt because she's my favorite dragon.
Appealing. If you were no for you, yeah, for me.
Sure, yeah, I'd love to find a compromise between the two positions.
I don't know, I would definitely take the deal that she has. So
Honestly, no.
okay.
I think on that basis, Deborah will have to respectfully decline. But
Huh?
thank you very much for your offer.
What?
Okay, good luck, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Nice to meet you. Bye.
All the best.
Deborah Meaden,
That didn't go the way I thought. I mean, you have to remember that it's a TV show, so it's very possible that they had no intention of getting any money from the dragons. They just wanted to promote their product on national TV. It's possible that they already had other sources of funding lined up that were at better terms. I don't know. I would have just taken that offer, but I don't know.
refuses to change her terms, and Jack does what few
It also just seemed like he kind of knee-jerk, said no without consulting with his co-founder, which is a bit concerning. Obviously, in real life, you've got a much longer time period to consider offers and to counter offer and to negotiate and to think about things and decide whether you trust someone, over an initial meeting like this. This is a vastly accelerated time frame. But still, that was pretty knee-jerk. I'm surprised that they didn't come up with, it doesn't seem like they came up with, what they'd open to offer, but also you have a number in mind that's the actual offer, you say 10%, but you accept 20%. It just sounded like they were going with 10% or nothing, which is a risky game, especially on a TV show where they want to build the drama. They're probably going to ask for more percentage because that's dramatic. So I would definitely consider all that before getting into the room.
entrepreneurs dare doing the deal and rejects her offer.
But that's
Husband and wife
wild
TV without their
that they said no. No to Deborah, how could you?
left somewhat confused about the way it played out.
You were going to say yes.
Yeah, even she thought they.
You should have better than you.
Oh no.
bit speechless and my kind of just.
Oh boy.
Those secret signals that you were
It
supposed to
didn't
give
quite
each other didn't
work. Because when you said unfortunately, I was like.
Oh no. Communication break. Secret signal.
I think they're going to regret that.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of jumped in there.
Okay, alright, well.
Oh, that's a bit disappointing. Oh. Yeah, okay, that's the end. Well, I didn't expect that ending, but yeah, I guess the big takeaways are, really consider all aspects of your branding and what makes you special and stand out. Have these negotiation ideas in mind when you come in. Have a rock solid communication skills with your co-founder, I guess, are the main takeaways. So that's the video. Let me know if you like this content, this kind of style. Please like and subscribe, share the video with any entrepreneurs that you know. If they're looking to do a startup, if they're looking to be on Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, then this is the content for them. So definitely share it out. So until then, I'll see you later.